when a company just says sorry or just doesn't like go above and beyond and it is what it is, you have to assume that their thought is, this is just one customer. Either it's a sense of like honor, a sense of like, we don't care that much to do the right thing, it's not in our ethos, or if it's tactical to actually go above and beyond, well, okay, one, it's the right thing to do, but two, if I win this person over and I really do the right thing here, you know that this story has to have been told 5,000 times.
I had an experience just days before my daughter was born with Jeff Mastro and, his counterpart in marketing. His name's Oliver. I wanted to kind of pick their brain on a few touches I noticed at their restaurant, Ocean 48, Newport Beach. So they invited me to dinner and we talked a lot about everything, life, hospitality, whatever. Well, there's a lot of things I noticed that were really cool and I was like taking note of, and I was like, I got to talk to Jeff about some of this stuff. So first and foremost,
welcome back to another episode of Who Cares, the podcast for business leaders and entrepreneurs who do care. I'm Jeff Jackel.
I'm Jay O'Brien.
And you are now...
someone who cares. A Faja.
You're a Faja. This is our first recording since you had a baby.
Yeah, well, my wife did.
You played a role.
I
caught the baby.
I caught the baby, yeah. That was awesome. The first nurse that came in, I was like, hey, can I deliver this child?
The way you were saying it on text, I'm like, I'm sure people have asked this before, but yet they were acting like, no.
They're just like, she's like, are you a doctor? I'm like, Costco thinks so.
Yeah. It's good.
But I'm like,
it's good.
I mean, I've seen shows on the CW, seems like it's something that a father should be able to do. So she was like, I don't know. And then we got this new nurse and she's like, I don't know about that. You'd have to ask the doctor or whatever. I'm like, now it's starting to feel like a very abnormal request. But I'm still going to ask it. And so coincidentally, the doctor who came
by the way, it could have been your choice of terminology. You kept saying, I want to catch the baby.
No, that's actually how it's phrased.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually how it's phrased. And that's actually literally what you're doing. Happened? That baby freaking shoots out of there.
My children did not shoot.
Really?
They sort of slid. I mean, a head, because I remember seeing I was north facing south. I didn't want to be in the splash
so you weren't in the splash zone. So you didn't really see the velocity at which.
Well, I did. I mean, I was looking from up above. So I saw them kind of come out. But there was no shooting.
But that was incredible. It reminds me of something. I need to think of what the movie is. I feel like it's this CGI animated animal movie I'm thinking of, where it's almost like a picture of a tiger or something, and all of a sudden it comes to life. And you can see the transition of, oh, that's all of a sudden CGI or bad effects or something like that.
Are you thinking of that movie, The Life of Pi? Where that
never saw it, but something like that.
Okay. It's pretty good.
But that's kind of how it was. Everything was happening in slow motion, and I was expecting, because I saw the head's crowning a little. So now it's a little more, and now it's a little more. I'm like, okay, now the width of the head. I'm like, the next one, the head's out for sure, and then it'll be shoulders, then it'll be body, and it's
everything's coming.
No, once it reached the peak of the head, it was all boom and just shot out. And dude, it was. I wasn't expecting her to be that big.
Yeah, and
I was just like, holy shit, this is wild.
Yeah, well, I mean, also, you didn't play really sports all that much. I mean, growing up. So it's what was the
when I was single digits, it was gnarly.
Sure,
but sent it forward for 3 years.
What's the basketball is what you choose?
Soccer.
Did you say center? What'd you say? Forward.
Forward.
Oh, I played forward. I thought you said. Was this the how's the catch?
The catch should have been more football catch.
Is it this?
No, it was like this. Okay. However, it was like a loaf of bread like this.
But you're standing in front, body's in front, so that in case you shoot straight out, it hits you. You're not sideways.
Should have done the football.
You went sideways?
Should have tucked in, and instead I caught like this, and she was surprisingly slippery.
Sure.
Oh boy.
So is someone helping you? What happened? Did you almost drop her? Or were you fine?
Dropped her, yeah. I
Good God.
Her. Well,
could you imagine?
It was a goddamn slip and slide in there. She just freaking slid over, and then doctor grabbed her and stuff. So that part was a little botchy.
Sure.
But It was cool, man. It was cool.
Now, who was holding your wife's hand? She's just rolling solo. You wanted to be down there doing it.
Yeah. She was a little reluctant to have me catch the baby. She was saying, oh, maybe you should be up here and supporting me and things like that.
Sure.
But once she had enough drugs, she agreed to just about anything.
There's all sorts of shit. I made her sign.
Yeah, so it was great.
You said you felt comfortable like the first time that you get into the house, you come back from the hospital, and it's like for the first time you're all on your own. There's no help. You got the baby in the car, you're driving home, you come into the house, you're like, okay, it's all on us. Like,
I don't know. There's a few things that I think are really weird with my experience that I wasn't expecting. So like the first is they say the feeling like when you see your kid for the first time, you're like, oh my God, I would just like, the love is unbelievable. You just like die for her and all this stuff. Like that wasn't actually the feeling I had. I think it's because I just had so much adrenaline that I was just like, on to the next, like just like you're constantly like doing something, like tending to her, doing things like, so you almost don't have time to process those emotions at all.
Like responsibility,
at least I didn't.
The responsibility of it and the things you had to be learning and whatever kind of like superseded the.
Yeah. And so like that part was, the feeling was overwhelming, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And even getting home, I didn't have that feeling of like, oh, we're lost. Like it all felt like second nature. It felt like I'd been doing this forever, like, which is very odd.
It is very odd.
Very weird.
Because you're generally not like the most comfortable prior to this. You're not even the most comfortable like holding a baby.
Dude, I don't think maybe I've held a baby like twice ever. Yeah. You know, it's not for me. But now, yeah, dude, I mean, like I've for sure changed the most diapers and like I'm doing everything I can besides breastfeeding. So I'm on everything.
You're not doing that. You're just letting her.
I wish I could. She thinks I can. Not my wife, my daughter. But
how would you rate yourself on the swaddle? It's very important.
Swaddle's a piece of cake.
Okay, it's tight. What would I rate it? I'm very harsh on a swaddle.
I feel like you would approve on the tightness. You would probably be a little bit more organized on the origami ending.
For sure.
With
it's sloppy, isn't it? You got danglies.
Because it's not danglies, but lately, because she's already grown a little bit. You know, she's already getting a little girth to her.
Sure.
But like in the hospital, like at the end, tucking in like the end of the swaddle stuff is important. Right now, it's not really that important because she's so tight that when I lay her down, she's on the part.
She's locked herself in there.
She's locked herself in, so I don't really need to secure it like that, you know?
Right. Which, when you said you didn't feel the emotion, or that you didn't feel that thing that I'm talking about, you're telling me, because you didn't hold her for the first hour.
I did. Well, yeah, maybe the first hour was skin to skin. Yeah. And then I held her.
But that first time that you held your daughter, you weren't just a puddle of tears.
I wasn't.
I mean, that's not shocking, but
it's hard to say. Like, it was obviously super powerful, but I think it was almost so powerful that I didn't feel, I was in such a different mode where I was like, I was also freaked out that, you know, Ash wasn't going to be okay because like some shit went down in the delivery. I just heard some horror stories recently that I was just like in survival mode.
You feel like you're not out of the woods yet, basically. You're not letting yourself like.
Yeah, and you're kind of in this like foreign place, and you're just like you're just in it. Like, okay, what's next? And so for me, the first part where I got emotional, like I got emotional during the delivery. You know, like once she came out and went on Ash, I was like, holy shit, like there she is, kind of thing, right? I don't even think I showed you that video. Of me delivering her.
No, I haven't seen that. Don't want to see all the serious stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not a close up.
I'll zoom in.
So
well, you said
the first time I got emotional, aside from that, was the day we left. So like we were there for 2 nights or something, 3 days, whatever. And so when I left to go get the car, when I was walking to get the car, it's like you're out in sunlight, and like that's for the first time
you realize
things were like clicking. Like, oh, dude, whoa, this is weird. And obviously, like 6 months ago, I had a totally different experience in hospitals, like constantly in hospitals. So like the reason and as to why I'm being discharged and the reason why I was in the hospital is literally the opposite of what the other one was, and so all of that was just kind of, you talk about the buoy analogy. A lot of that was coming to mind of like, oh, dude, like I'm a father now.
Yeah,
you know,
you're the anchor. like that.
Yeah.
You realize that. And I kind of do remember that. I kind of do remember, well, like for you, it was leaving and walking to get the car.
Yeah.
Like first, by the way, that's probably the first time you were by yourself for almost 48 hours, right?
Exactly.
And so you're going to do something that's like a mundane thing, but like, I'm a dad and I'm going to go get the car and go pick up my wife and my daughter. And like,
yeah, it was the self-reflection for sure.
Yeah.
That was actually the most powerful part, is the self-reflection. And then maybe a day or two later, I had to run to Target.
Yeah.
And I told Amy that story, and she's like, when the hell was the last time you were in a Target? It's like, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. If you guys don't know why that's funny. I've told Jay will ask me all the time. He'll be like, because we share locations, don't ask. He'll be like, what are you doing in Target? It's like 10 o'clock. I'm like, we were out of sourdough and the kids eat that for breakfast and everything. He's like, just get it delivered. I'm like, I just realized it right now. And it'll be tomorrow. He's like, why are you in a Target physically? I haven't been in Target forever. I'm like, just wait. As soon as you're a dad, you'll be running to Target.
Just running errands, just forget it, whatever.
Yeah, be there all the time. And also, I mean, I don't know if I need to point this out if they can see it. Like,
face up, yeah.
You got the phone face up just because something could happen.
That's right.
Right?
That's
it's overnight. It's a whole different thing.
It's different. Yeah. So that was the second time. It was like when I did that Target run, I was like, and I ran around to get gas or something like that. And just through that time driving around, again, the self-reflection of, oh, like I have a daughter at home. Yeah. was trippy.
I'm just doing life. I'm the same person, but in another way, I'm like an entirely different person now. Like my role is entirely different.
Yeah.
And it'll never be the same.
Yeah.
It's just wild. Weird question. When you spend time alone with her, do you talk to her?
Yeah, for sure.
So for whatever reason, I remember, I mean, like I'm generally an emotional, puddly mess for a lot of things like this, but like I remember that being the most emotional stuff is like once I got home, first when I held her, I was a mess, but like, my son, love him too, but it was my daughter obviously made me a dad. And I remember like being in her room a couple of times and just like talking to her about stuff. Mm-hmm. And every single time when I'm like having a conversation with my daughter, she doesn't know what the heck you're saying, but like for whatever reason, that was like super emotional to like talk to her about how she got here, tell her little stories about like meeting her mom and all this kind of stuff. And for whatever reason, that was like, I'm talking to my child.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that's just trippy.
Yeah, and being face to face with them, super, super close at that age, you're just like, this is never going to happen again. You know,
yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Now, do you have to put, like I did when I first held her, do you have to put your reading glasses on?
Yeah, kind of. Well, so speaking of like talking to her and reading to her and stuff, I have a weekly tradition with Ash. I send her flowers every Friday and write a card for her. I started that with Saya now.
You're sending 2 bouquets every week.
Yeah. So every one of them has a message to her. And so I read her the message.
Good Lord, friend. Yeah. It's going to go on forever?
Why not?
Hope my wife is not listening.
Okay. So today's topic, hospitality in hospitality.
You've said this all day. I don't know what it means.
Okay, so on the show, we're always talking about how you can inject a hospitality element to your brand that is not a hospitality thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like what's something to stand out, what's something hospitable that your company would never be expected to do, and it's a pattern interrupter or whatever. Well, what happens if you just look at, the 11 Madison Parks or like, actual hospitality-based industries, companies, whatever, and what are they doing? So I had an experience just days before my daughter was born with Mr. Mastro. Jeff Mastro and his counterpart in marketing, his name's Oliver. I connected with them, I don't know, a month and a half ago or something like that, and wanted to kind of pick their brain on a few touches I noticed at their restaurant, Ocean 48 Newport Beach. Ended up developing a really good rapport with these guys, and they invited me to dinner, and we had a great time.
For those who don't know, tell people who Jeff Mastro is in the history.
So the restaurant Mastro's, there's Ocean Club, like Steakhouse, like I don't even know how many of them there are.
Because they're elsewhere. Is there one in Vegas?
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Yeah. I mean, Jeff sold that, I think in like 2007 or something. So now his company is called Prime Steak Concepts. And Ocean 48, Ocean 44, Steak 48, I don't know, there's probably like 12 different locations and they're spread out throughout the country. Very, very high-end steak houses and seafood and just phenomenal dining experiences, very, very high-level stuff. I had dined at Ocean 48 a couple times, once with you.
Hanging bacon.
And so it was really good to connect with these guys. So they invited me to dinner and we talked a lot about everything, life, hospitality, whatever. Well, there's a lot of things I noticed that were really cool, and I was like taking note of, and I was like, oh, I got to talk to Jeff about some of this stuff. So first and foremost, like one of the things I noticed about Ocean 48 the very first time I ever went there, right when they opened up, just like any new restaurant in town, it's the new hot spot. It's impossible to get in. It's pretty much impossible to get in there anyway. Just like in general, it's like 6 to 8 week wait.
Is it still?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That's just the nature of like their restaurants. But we had a party of 6. First time I ever went there, showed up. I was like one of the first people to show up. I think collectively it was like 3 or 4 different arrivals between 6 people. The doorman like greets you right away, like opens the door, welcomes you. The hostess, immediately like, oh, you're here for this reservation, whatever, it seats you. Doesn't say, is your whole party here?
Mm-hmm. Not making you do the waiting game.
Dude, which is a huge thing. You think about it, like, dude, when Javier's opened up, the new one, it's like, you can eat shit and die. Like, you're lucky to be here,
Ash went there last night, had a 7:00 reservation, did not sit down until 7:40 after someone in their group went and raised hell.
Yeah, and they're so impersonal and whatever. So it's like, no, they're literally like, you'll be seated right now. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm expecting people like, don't worry about that. When those people come, we will seat them too. Mm-hmm. So that was nice. That's just a little touch, that went a long way. And there are lots of things like that. Like throughout the night, I was really surprised. Like, wow, the service is like really, really good. And like the food's really good and all the things, whatever.
When we went there, actually, the hostess, I think, grabbed us and let us know that someone from our party was already having a drink in the bar and walked us in there. Remember?
There you go.
Blake was already in there.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, like there's a lot of little things there that I was like interested in speaking with the owner just about. Why do you do that? Have you ever thought about it? Like, is it intentional or whatever?
And is it him or is it like, who is it?
Yeah. So a lot of this is Oliver. I mean, it's both of them, but like it was cool talking with them about a lot of those touches. And that was the purpose I reached out originally. But so we're sitting down there, it's probably the best table in the house. It's like this corner booth, like it's
in the room
perfect.
With the pool? They have a pool inside the building. Like you're not supposed to swim in it, but there's a little pool.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
No, we're in a different section, but we're sitting there, and the server comes up. She gives her whole spiel, does the specials, does everything. I order a drink or whatever. She walks away, and when you're at a restaurant like this and they name the specials, I mean, this could be a 3 to 4 minute ordeal, right? And after a while, I was just like, I looked at both of them. I'm like, what's the deal? Like, do these employees know who you guys are? Are you incognito? Like, you're the fucking owners.
They know.
Right? But she's not acting like she knows at all. And they're not acting like they, right?
Yeah.
It just seems like they're completely undercover, right?
Yeah.
And they go, no, we're not incognito, right? But I'm like, so, you just let her go through everything. Like, you obviously know the specials. You obviously know everything on the menu. Like, you just let her go, and they're like, yeah, I mean, they work really, really hard on it, and we want to see them do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. That's really cool.
Yeah. It's great. I worked at one restaurant, and it was a very nice restaurant. But I will tell you, that server was just straight up shitting her pants. I don't care whether they're the most seasoned person. Or my first night, actually, like when this place opened, because I helped open a restaurant, some of the owners, and it was all like celebrity owned or whatever. So like double the fact that they're the owners of the place, they whatever. And they're also like, the television stars or whatever. Me and somebody else had their table, and it was like, and I don't get nervous with shit like that. It was insanely nerve wracking because they're just going to hang on every single word. And this is a person who owns the whole damn place. So not only that, like, I think like maybe even if they had stopped or paused or whatever, like somebody like that would have just gotten flustered anyway. But it's pretty rad. So that's the best she's ever done. Not only did she do the whole thing from start to finish, it's the best she's ever done it. Yeah, but she might do the same every single time.
It was flawless. And so like, anyway, the whole experience was incredible. You're with the owners of this, like one of the best restaurants in Orange County. And so you can imagine the food that's hitting the table. There's like, let's try this. I mean, they ordered probably 6 to 8 appetizers and like entree, all this stuff.
Yeah, and I'll never forgive you for not bringing me this.
And all the while they're like, keep telling the people like, pack this up for him to take to Ashley, like pack this.
Oh, that's right.
So it's cool. So I brought all this food back for Ashley. And so anyway, they were telling me about like, they're really interested in what we do, and not because it's an interesting idea, right? And that's the part that's so different for us. Normally we talk about what we do and they go, whoa, that is like
Novel.
a really novel, interesting idea.
But these guys get it.
And for those of you listening, we actually won in like an Innovator of the Year award.
Yeah.
That's how different it is when you're in hospitality. There's nothing innovative about what we do at all. It's what they were so interested in is, oh, someone could do this for us.
How do you automate it?
You can automate it for us. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So that angle was really interesting to me. So I started asking them about stuff that they currently do, and we started talking about customer disappointments, customer upsets. I was like, what do you guys do for that? Like, oh my God, we do all kinds of things. Like, I'm like, okay, like what? Like flowers, nice bottle of wine, all this. I'm like, interesting. So when someone has a bad experience, you're not like, here's 20% off to your next experience.
Which is the standard.
Right? And Oliver's like laughs and he's like, exactly, dude. No, we don't do shit like that. We talked about branded stuff, logo stuff, like, and granted, it is a little different for them because it's an upper echelon brand, right?
Yeah.
But even still, there's awareness around that where they're like, yeah, I mean, we don't have Ocean 48 blast on stuff, but there's certain things like they gifted this regular with golf balls, like Pro V1s that had like a little 48 on them.
That's cool.
Didn't say Ocean 48.
No. That'd be really cool.
48.
Like a Titleist lets you just pick a custom number. If it just was number 48, that's just like a subtle
I think it probably was in their font or something.
Okay.
But it was like definitely branded like that, but it wasn't like NASCAR like all over kind of thing. But they did it in obviously like their upper echelon way. So it wasn't a sleeve of balls where the balls, all three balls are touching each other. They're all individually boxed.
Oh my God.
Which I'd never even seen before.
I don't either.
And did a case of those. And not only that, but this regular dines at their location in Houston all the time. And not only does he dine in Houston all the time, he always has the same table 501. Okay. So the balls said, if found, please return to table 501.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's so good.
I'm like, dude.
He's not playing those balls.
So you could imagine how fun this dinner was for me because we're just exchanging stories and like, I'm like, dude, this is rad. But yeah, they're saying like if something goes wrong, to what extent they'll take care of things. And there was a particular story that I wanted to share that was like, holy shit, this is just unbelievable. So they had a customer come into one of their locations. I forget which one it was, but she had a Birkin bag. The guy who was like busting the table or whatever, back then they didn't use like the illuminated light candles. They used real candles. And he basically swept fire into the Birkin bag and the Birkin bag caught fire. And like, they put it out real quick, but like the bag was torched.
It's torched, yeah.
Obviously, apologies aren't going to fix $40,000, $50,000. So what happened was the woman this happened to, she's married to a very wealthy man. Okay. So she's like, it's not about the thing. It's that I have been with him since before he was anything. Like, we've worked, like I've been by his side, like through his whole career when we had nothing. And this was like, when he bought this was like the biggest trophy ever, whenever that was 10, 20 years ago.
Okay.
So she's like, it's the sentimental value. Yeah. Like this thing is just amazing, whatever. So
can't be replaced.
Cannot be replaced. So Oliver, who is at the dinner, he is like, let me please try and take care of this for you, whatever. And talk about calling in favors. He ends up getting a hold of his rep in like whoever he's connected to in Houston, who is able to connect to the original designer of the bag that got ruined, who still works in Paris for Hermes. Oliver takes the bag because you can't ship it, right?
Why?
Because that's too much liability. Like what? Oh. So hand delivers the bag.
He flies to Paris?
To Houston.
Okay.
To give to the rep who flies it personally to Paris to have the original designer basically repair / kind of remake that bag. Like restored that bag to the original condition.
Holy cow.
Brings it all back. He puts a really expensive bottle of champagne in it and hand delivers it to her house.
Good God.
I mean,
that's insane.
That is wild.
Did he tell you about the reaction?
Oh yeah, she was beside herself. I mean, and even the fact like this, the guy who swept the fire in the bag, or whatever, like no one's even mad at that guy, right? Like even her included, right?
Sure.
She's like, God, mistakes happen and stuff. It's just that when mistakes happen, sometimes it really sucks because it's like irreplaceable. Like I think I told you I got hit in the jag, right?
Yeah.
So that's a situation which I don't even know I've told you the outcome of that. But like, it doesn't matter like how sorry you are, whatever. It's like at the end of the day, like this super sentimental thing can't be brought to what it needed to be brought to. And he made it happen. So the reason why I think that's so powerful is that I'm sure everyone wants to do that, but like think about how many times like a company has done you wrong, whether it's a mistake or whatever, and they just don't even try.
Yeah.
Like, or there's like, look, we're happy to get you a new one. We're happy to get you credit. We're just sorry.
Yeah.
And like, we're fine with just saying sorry. And the fallout is the fallout. Like that could have been the case. He like literally is flying places and making all these calls and calling in all these favors to make this happen for this woman.
Did you ask, or maybe you already know, like what's the motivation? What's their thought process? Do they have like rules that they live by or some sort of key tenets that like, because what I'm getting at is when a company just says sorry or just doesn't like go above and beyond and it is what it is, you have to assume that their thought is this is just one customer. If we burn one customer, there's lots of other people that we can get, right? They're not really seeing either it's a sense of like honor, a sense of like we don't care that much to do the right thing, it's not in our ethos, or if it's tactical to actually go above and beyond, you'd assume they're thinking, well, okay, one, it's the right thing to do, but two, if I win this person over and I really do the right thing here, one, yes, I've saved this one customer, but that this story has to have been told 5,000 times.
So for them, I think that's just like a happy natural byproduct.
Sure.
I think for them, what it is, it's the roots of being best in class, which is why I want to do an episode about hospitality in hospitality, because they're not thinking like a spectrum, right? Where they're like, we know we're going to piss people off. We'll try and get them when they cancel by reducing the rate a little bit. And if this, then this, but it's all going to shake out positive on the P&L. Like that, those aren't the thoughts that come to mind. The thoughts that come to mind are, this is us. This is our culture. This is what we do. Like if you ever go to Japan, that's what the Japanese culture is in everything they do. It's like, I'm not going to steal that because it doesn't belong to me. Right.
Yeah.
They're not like, could I get away with it? What are the repercussions? Could I get in trouble?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not mine, so I won't take it, And so for them, I think that he probably actually hasn't even given it any thought, similarly to how we operate in some things, because you're like, I didn't know that was worth having a thought about. That's just what you do.
Just what you do. Yeah.
Right? So,
well, because we always say there's three reasons for doing what we do, whether with us or on their own. There's three reasons people do it. One is that it's just the right thing to do. They want to take care of people, and they're so thankful for everybody who's making their business possible, right? Two is they actually want an ROI from it. They're like, it's not that it's manipulative, but they're doing it because they know tactically this will tell people will tell people, they'll get referrals, they'll grow, et cetera. And then the third reason is they just want to be best in class, and they just set a standard, and that's their reason. So it doesn't like the cost of doing all this stuff for this one person. The idea of potentially that is going to cost them more to fix this one thing than that person will ever spend. And it's a losing battle if you talk to your CFO, but that doesn't even go into their mind. It's just, we want to be best in class. This is, so that's them. That's
them 100%. I mean, so what got me to originally reach out to them was when we sent one of our employees there, and I got a call the next day from a live human who wanted to talk to me. I obviously didn't pick up my phone because I never do.
Sure.
But the voicemail was saying, I just wanted to call and thank you for dining here last night.
They did that when we went too, right? They called whoever you remember.
They must have.
Yeah.
It's part of their process, right?
And didn't you say that they said no need to call back?
Yeah, which I love that, right? Yeah. But that was the purpose of my call originally when I connected with Jeff. I was like, why do you do that? Like, you've implemented that as a part of your process somewhere. Why? What's the point, And it's funny because I probably asked him 4 different ways over the, 4 different times I've talked to him. And every time I never get an answer because it's like he doesn't understand the question, right? He's like, What do you mean? You know, like
why wouldn't we?
Like, what are you asking? I'm thanking him for dining. What do you like? To him, he's like, because they dined at my restaurant. Of course, I'm going to thank that. You know, it's like it's just funny.
He does realize that we go to all of the other competing, restaurants
and don't get a call. Yeah, I think maybe at that level, you might just be so laser focused. You're like, I don't even know what my competitors are doing anymore because I don't care because that's not even the reason why I do it.
That's interesting. That's super interesting.
But super positive experience. Really connected with those guys, and I'm still staying in touch with them now. And I'll get into other things offline that will be available to us.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
I love it. So what are other things? Hospitality. What about any like hotel stuff? Like I'm about to go tomorrow or 2 days from now, to stay somewhere, that I think is mostly for kids, but it's going to be really,
It's not mostly for kids. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to go, you're not going to go to an adults only resort when you have kids.
Of course.
If you're going to go to an upscale place, you might as well go to one that the kids are going to love.
Yeah.
By no means is this not an upscale place. Put it that way. It's a little outdated, but
we'll be fine. Yeah,
you're gonna love it.
A nice big room.
You're gonna love it.
But we could probably do a whole bunch of different hospitality things. We could probably do a whole separate resorts one, and restaurants one. Did you happen to ask them whether they've read Unreasonable Hospitality?
Oh yeah, of course they
know it front to back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally. It's like, if you asked any one of our friends, like, you ever heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad? Or it's like...
It's actually more like asking like a financial advisor, have you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yeah, exactly.
The millionaire next door.
Yeah, so for them, they're like, oh yeah, Will Goddard, of course I've read that book.
Yeah, he's on my speed dial.
So anyway, super positive experience. And as they were telling me all these stories and we were having dinner together, I was like, I gotta share some of this stuff. So
great.
I took some notes and I wanted to put it on the podcast.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, so when you come back from your trip, take some notes and report back on other hospitality things in the resort world.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Maybe there are places like this. If a place was so, and Disney probably does this, but if a place was so intended for kids, and maybe I'm upplaying how for kids this is, but like if you went to like Disney Alani or something like that, it'd be kind of interesting if there's a place that does like crazy hospitality for kids.
There are. I've actually seen a couple cool things like this. In the Bahamas at Atlantis, there's 2 different ones for different age groups, but they have like a full-blown nightclub for kids, like for preteens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the DJ, it's the lights, it's the tables, it's the drinks, just not alcoholic. So think about that experience. You're like, this is sick, That's
super fun.
And obviously Vegas tries to do that. I don't know if they focus on it anymore, but like back in the day, they focused on it heavily with arcades, trying to make the arcade a casino.
Yeah, I feel like that so you could have your kids there, and
you're
going to get in a lot of trouble, though. Yeah, sneak across the side, the other side, play a little.
Well, aloha to you.
Thanks. Yeah, it'll be great. Why don't you give them ask them to do the liking and the subscribing and the things.
Yeah, so
if you got all of this way, you know what? We should start doing this in the very beginning. First thing out of my mouth next time. Hey, we never asked in the beginning of a video, like and subscribe if you like what you see.
Yeah, and a review would be nice.
Yeah, review. And ask some damn questions. That'll make it easier.
All right, there you have it.
See you next week.
Gentlemen. Thank you.